Okay, this is all brought to you by Sugar Free Dr. Pepper. Jerry, please sponsor us and give us all the money in the world. Thank you. Okay, alrighty. Now we are on our fourth key cynic theme, and this theme is endurance slash self control. And my attempt at the Greek once again, karteria. More than anything else, cynics extolled the virtue of endurance or perseverance. Karteria in Greek. There was one Homeric hero, Odysseus, who embodied karteria and served the cynics as a model for their own code of conduct. They like to quote Odysseus' famous lines urging patience and self mastery. Bear up, my heart. You went through things worse than this that day. The Cyclops, in his frantic rage, devoured your strong companions. You held out then until cunning led you from that cave where you thought you were going to die. He said these words to hold down the heart within his chest, and his spirit submitted, enduring everything with resolution. Hercules was also treated as an honorary cynic for his 12 labors, some of which, like the cleaning of the Augean stables, required more forbearance than heroic strength or courage. Cynics preach Carteria not only as a tonic for the soul, but on altruistic grounds. They were not monastics, ascetics, proto holy men in the cloister or on top of a pillar. They were very public figures who endured life outdoors and a meager diet, and no doubt a steady stream of heckling, especially from the gilded youth in the urban centers, while servicing society with their prose hymns to virtue delivered on street corners and in the public square. They invoked the historical Socrates in this connection as well. His capacity to endure extremes of hot and cold, his patient acceptance of the death sentence imposed on him, the self control he displayed in his steadfastly chaste relations with the handsome Alcibiades, all this served to inspire in them a character trait that naysayers misconstrued as a sign of meekness and lack of spirit. Undoubtedly, they were encouraged in part by Socrates to cultivate an attitude of patient forbearance, and, in their turn, influenced the early church to make it a characteristically Christian virtue. Ha ha! Not in America! Not in America! That's out the window! Okay, sorry, it was a little editorializing. Back to the text. But the degree to which they incorporated this habit of mind into their lifestyle was unprecedented and helped make of them a new kind of philosophical hero. As we saw in the case of Diogenes and Alexander, cynics scorned the blandishments of the great ones of the world. Philosophers who succumbed to that temptation were despised. According to Diogenes Laertius, Plato saw Diogenes of Sinope washing lettuces, came up to him and said to him under his breath, "Had you paid court to Dionysius, you wouldn't now be washing lettuces." And Diogenes answered in a similarly confidential tone, "If you washed lettuces, you wouldn't have to flatter Diogenes." Remember, he's the tyrant Plato flatters. The lesson of the Sharia is clear. Not only did they prize their independence, but accepted poverty as a condition befitting a philosopher and his spiritual values. They were the first, virtually the only philosophers to eulogize poverty as a blessing in disguise. Related to this is their indifference to conventional society's judgment on their poverty, as well as their squalor, outspokenness, and sporadic indulgence in openly outrageous behavior, such as eating and even masturbating in public. Ignominy, Antithenes said, should be endured and even welcomed as one more test of one's mettle, and he urged people who are maligned to bear it better than being pelted with rocks. All right, so that's it for number 4.